Hey, everybody. This is Joy Packard. This is our second interview today. We are piling this on today again. We're trying to get all of the speakers in before our live event starts this Thursday here in Houston. And we have some incredible speakers. If you guys have not been to SimplezonSeller yet and checked out the lineup of speakers, go check it out. I'm going to introduce this amazing, I can't even believe he's coming. We are super blessed to have him. I get lucky knowing the right people. And this particular speaker, I mean, guys, all of them, of course, but I'm super honored to have, Brian come and speak with us. And I'm going to let him tell us a little bit about himself. Brian, welcome. We're so happy that you're here.
Thanks.
I know you're a super busy guy, and we want everybody to hear about who you are and maybe a little bit about your journey, and just start there.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for having me here. Of course. It's my pleasure. I'm really looking forward to this event. I love the events that are not so oversold and over promoted and everything. I like the more the smaller events. I just spoke recently at an event in Costa Rica, and the smaller groups, there's so much more interaction and personal touch that you just don't get at the larger conferences. And that's why I love them that much more, because the networking is fantastic. But as far as my background, what value am I going to bring actually to the stage this week? And that is going to be focusing on Amazon, specifically Amazon advertising. That is my expertise. That's the lane that I stay in. And that's what I've been doing for about 4 years now. Wow, time flies. For about 4 years now. I've been in e-commerce for probably 12, 13 years. I came from a background of selling on eBay quite a bit. And so I had done well selling banking equipment, like coin sorters and money counters and all that kind of stuff. And but then I got pulled over to the dark side of Amazon here a few years ago. And it's been a wild ride ever since. And so I'm coming in this week, and what I'm going to share is something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is really focusing the attention that you're basically focusing on. Specifically, if you're doing Amazon advertising, focus in on where it really makes the biggest difference for your business. There's 100 different things that you can do in advertising, and I know that myself and my agency team, we do it quite well. But when it comes right down to it, if you've only got a short amount of time each week, which most of you do who are building solid businesses, then I'm going to talk about specifically what is the 20% of what you can do with your advertising that's going to create the biggest return on your ad spend, the biggest bang for the buck, if you will, for your time, so that you're focusing on where it really matters, not getting distracted, but like every single podcast and article that comes out on Forbes and everything. Hey, here's a new shiny object for you to look at. No, just focusing on exactly what's going to produce the best return, so you can get back to doing what you do best.
I love hearing that, and going back to like what you said at the beginning about a smaller conference, and I agree with you. I do go to big conferences, that have over 500, 600 people, and it's kind of cool. But there's something about the smaller intimate conferences, and we keep this below 100, and that's it really gives a lot of value to the attendees as well as the speakers. A lot of the speakers I'm hearing as I'm interviewing them, how excited they are, not just to speak, but to also meet people like you, Brian, and just be around, this particular kind of setting where we're all together. And what you're doing also with what you're talking about, I'm sure there are many who could use what you do as their service. And, to make things easier, I'm all about that. And so can you tell us a little bit briefly about what, like your software or whatever you do, so that people could kind of understand a little bit about what it does?
Certainly. So I'm kind of all over the place. So like over the past few years here, I've got a community on Facebook, of course, that just focuses in on Amazon pay-per-click. I have the software that's been around for 4 years. I mean, there's a lot of competitors in that same space, but the software helps a lot with polling reports and being able to see trends, being able to see the search terms, the keywords. It goes farther than that. Of course, it allows you to actually make bid changes and negative matching of advertising search terms, and make changes to your campaigns and run automation. All that kind of stuff is pretty common anymore. Allows you to do it right inside the software.
Wow.
And one of the things that kind of like sets us apart as far as our software goes is that it allows you to do some comparison. In other words, like over time comparison as far as what happened, maybe something happened that was good or bad to your advertising over the last month, for instance. You can compare the history from last month to this month and see, okay, what specifically changed, good or bad, that I need to learn about, that I need to be aware of. It's not simply like, oh, this month has been down, I don't know why. No, figure it out. It's right there. That's kind of where the software excels well beyond any of the software for that matter. But this one, excels well beyond what you can get in Seller Central. And so if you're still using Seller Central, you're not working efficiently. You're simply just not. There's way better tools out there for you that are a better use of your time. And then, of course, I've got my agency. I've got Canopy Management. And that one is we primarily work with brands that are selling at least $1 million a year on Amazon. And then we go up from there to sometimes, millions each month, So, we get to work on some awesome projects. We're working with some awesome clients. And so that keeps us and we've got a staff of, what do we have? Staff of about 24 on our agency. So it's a phenomenal team. Enjoying what I'm doing.
That's amazing. And so you've been doing this for 4 years. And I think that's about like when I think I've been following you about that long. And so, if you guys don't follow him, there's his name under his, right there. You need to. He has some amazing content that he puts in his groups. As you can see, he's super knowledgeable. When I sit here and just listen to him, again, I'm just like in awe.
I didn't even mention the course. I totally forgot about it.
Yeah. Every time I bring on one of you guys, I'm just like, I cannot wait to be at my own conference and just sit there and take notes and listen to you guys. Oh man, this is another example of somebody who just is bringing value and, he's so busy. I think that when I talked to Brian Burt, about you and, and he's like, yeah, Brian can come. And I was super excited because, I know you're in Austin now and I'm actually moving to San Antonio. So I told Brian, the other Brian, I said, we need to get together and, collaborate and have masterminds and things like that. But I'm just super excited to have you here. And so I'm sure that, people are you going to, I don't know, part of your presentation, are you going to do like a short demo of like what it does or no?
As far as the software goes, no, actually, I don't plan on actually pitching anything, it's not, I'm here to just simply go through and say, look, if you're working on your advertising, here's the areas where there's the best use of your time. And I'm actually going to compare, like, look, here's where you're going to get here's the 20% that you should be working on that is going to give you the best return on your advertising. Here's the 80% that you can do. But frankly, it's going to require a lot more work than you probably have in a day or a week or a month. And so my primary goal is to make sure that you're not, going off into rabbit holes as far as like, oh, I could be doing this and I could be doing this. And I'm spending 15 hours a week, working on my advertising. No, just focusing on that 20%, strong believer of Pareto. Focusing on that 20% that's going to produce the 80% of the results. If you have time, if you have a virtual assistant, or if you're using software, if you want to outsource it, obviously, but then circle back around and figure out, okay, what's the other 80% that's going to give me, that's going to give me a competitive advantage, but requires a lot more time than what I have. Focus in on here's the 20% that's going to give you the biggest return if you're doing it yourself.
Wow. So you're telling me like, if I don't want to learn all that kind of stuff, I can just say, Brian, here's my stuff. Can you look at it and help run my campaigns?
Well, like I said, we definitely we typically work with national brands and, well-established brands. And so we're not really best suited for the startup. Okay. But there are certainly plenty of up and coming, experts in the world. I would say, start out. If you don't currently do it, then at least figure out what it is that is your minimum effort that's going to give you the best return for a while until you can, either train up a virtual assistant, or if you're at that stage in your business, then yeah, of course. I mean, give us a call. We'll evaluate. If it's something where we can help you, then we'll tell you. If not,
That's awesome.
We'll also tell you.
I mean, I just can't believe that you're going to be at our conference. That's what's exciting.
Honestly, kind of like you said, and I know some of the other speakers say this too, is that in a conference of this size, we get just as much value because we get a chance to meet some fantastic people that we're just not going to, when there's just a sea of people in a big dark room, forget it. You're not going to, you meet 5 people at the bathroom and that's about it.
That's
but
right.
A conference like this, you actually get a chance to go around and have conversations. Goes both ways.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And, short drive from Austin, right? You just drive to Austin, but I think you're going to another conference, aren't you? Are you going to be going to another conference right after or so?
Well, no. So we actually have, yeah, this is kind of the pinch on this is that we actually have a business meeting. And it's with the, probably the largest partner that we have, and so it's not something I can just blow off. And unfortunately, it's going to have to be one of those things where right after I speak, I'm going to have to head out the door. So I wanted to make sure that we, was able to time it. But yeah, it's going to be cutting close. But I will be there. I'm coming in Wednesday night, staying there,
okay.
And of course I'll be there all day Thursday. Look for the shiny head and pull me aside and say,
Will you be there Thursday night for the VIP dinner? Or are you going home Thursday night, or are you going to be home going Friday?
I'm going to have to miss Thursday.
Yeah.
Night.
So you guys need to catch them Wednesday,
yeah.
Or even just during the conference. We're going to have some breaks and such, and during lunch, and we have 20-minute breaks here and there that you can catch this guy in the hallway. And we have VIP sessions that you can actually purchase on the event site for future. So listen, I mean, I'm just sitting here listening to you, Brian. I'm in like awe, it's like, wow, this guy knows stuff. I'm learning right along with you guys. A lot of people are like, oh, you already know. There's a lot of things I don't know how to do. And this is one that I've been really wanting to, get into as far as what you do. And it's exciting to hear, what you do, and that you're going to be at the event to where people can hear you and meet you and rub shoulders with you. And like I say, guys, if you don't follow him, is there like a free group that I have so many groups and stuff. Do you have like a free Facebook group that people can go to?
Yeah. So we've got, Amazon PPC troubleshooting. There's about 15,000 other sellers in there. So feel free to jump in there. There's plenty of
Amazon
conversation.
PPC troubleshooting. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you guys heard that. And after we get done, I can post that in the group, unless some of you are listening and can post that anywhere. So that's great. And that I have so many groups that I can't remember the names, but I know when I'm in Brian's group, I'm like, man, there's so much stuff in here, and it's just so much value that he should be charging thousands of dollars for, and he's posting in his group.
You're not the first person.
It's amazing. So, well, tell us a little bit. And we have just a few more minutes, and I know you're super busy too as well. And I know you do this as well. Do you have any advice for like maybe somebody who's just kind of starting out, like with PPC? And I know that they have to get to a certain level to be with your agency. So what would you say would be a good thing for them to just, practice on? Like, do they do it themselves, train their virtual assistants? Like, what would you recommend?
Yeah, most startups in their first year, they may not have the resources in order to have a virtual assistant or any other kind of team. Sometimes what you can find is, a family member or something like that who's really good with, numbers and Excel spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff that can give you a hand with this kind of stuff. But ultimately, it comes down to, the advertising serves a number of purposes. It's not strictly just sales, but first and foremost, use it to really identify who that target audience is for your product. You can do that as simple and minimal as an automatic campaign running at a fairly low bid and a fairly low budget. Obviously that's kind of an arbitrary, subjective number, I suppose. But, even if you had something that was, running at $1 bid and $20 a day, just as an automatic campaign, is at least going to start the trickle of information that is going to tell you more about your target audience, and especially the search terms that they're using to find and purchase your product. And then you can roll that back in and update your product listing so that you show up even more for the search terms that convert. Now, ideally, because of competition, don't go for one or two. Don't try to optimize and say, I'm going to get that keyword phrase that's like one or two words that has, a billion searches for it. You're not going to get it. There's just going to be way too much competition. It's going to apply to too many products that are either, they're probably not related to your product. And so you're not going to get the relevance matching that Amazon loves so much. So look for the longest keywords that come up that come up in your search, in your automatic campaigns that convert to orders. Look for the longest ones and try to optimize. In other words, adjust the content of your listing. Title, bullets, description. Any one of those. Don't do them all the same, but do any one of those in order so that Amazon is willing to show your product listing higher in the organic ranking, higher for advertising for these longer phrases, the ones that are like 3, 4, 5 words in length. You're much more likely to show up high at a less expensive price, and you're much more likely to climb up the organic ranks. Build on that. Start with the less competitive terms, and just keep on building up to more and more competitive terms as you learn what to do. There's a whole lot more you can do with manual campaigns and keyword targeting and match types and all this kind of stuff. But if you're just starting out, just start out with a basic automatic campaign. Just let it run and learn from it. Just learn who your audience is.
Okay. There you guys go for some newbies. I mean, I know that might sound like, that right there is a huge golden nugget. You're getting some advice from an expert on like how to start if you're just kind of new. And, those of you who don't know, like, whenever you go into your Amazon sponsored ads thing or whatever, there's something that you can do that says automatic. So review what he said. You can go back on this video and review that, because that is a huge golden nugget that he just gave. And so, this is the conference that we're all excited about. It's right here in Houston, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right here below. Brian is going to be speaking on the first day. You need to be here and, catch him. Like if he's here Wednesday night, even, I'm sure he's going to be hanging out in the lobby in the hotel or whatever. You see how he looks. I mean, you can obviously see that he is a plethora of knowledge. And so the other thing I wanted to mention, this just came up. You can go to this link as well. There's an after party that Tim Jordan and Amanda Balcazar is putting up. There's that link right there. They wanted me to mention that. I know you're not going to be able to be there, Brian, but we'll have to do something else when you're in town. But you'll be there on Wednesday and Thursday. So we appreciate you. I mean, even just coming, as you are on even just one day. I know that your schedule is pretty tight, and so we super are excited. That's not even making sense. We're super excited.
My goal is to help as many people as I can possibly touch while I'm there. So
see, there you go, guys. I mean, it's all about like paying it forward, giving of your time, and people wanting to help people. And that's what this conference is about. So Brian, I know your time is super valuable. Thanks for coming on here on a Monday evening. And listeners, live listeners, we thank you as well. Here is a link. It is not too late to join. We are giving away a free VIP dinner ticket to, two tickets on every interview that we do. So if you're interested, we have a deeply discounted promo code as well as a VIP dinner ticket. So, just comment below under Brian's video, private message me. He's busy. Private message me and say you saw Brian's video, and we'll get that to you. So if you're coming on the replay, let us know you're coming on the replay as well. So Brian, again, thank you for your time. And we look forward to seeing you in Houston, as well as all of you who are listening. If you're not coming, you need to be coming. So there's a link. It's not too late. And we'll see you guys in Houston this coming Thursday. Thanks, Brian. See ya. Bye-bye.